Oh, Trapper, what is your beef? There it is. Hot and spicy, peppered, original. Let's get at it. You know the rules. Let me start with the social media. Graham and SLO is going to set the tone. Rome Slice. My beef is when I call customer service and they ask me to spell my name using phonetics. Now I am stuck trying to think of words other than pterodactyl and knife. My other beef is when I'm putting in work on my Peloton and somebody calls me. Now I have to decide whether or not to answer and sound like Mike McFatney or pause my workout. Graham in SLO. Okay, my man. Romy, I have a beef with my 3-year-old and 6-year-old's incessant use of the word butthole. They're constantly calling each other butthole or simply yelling butthole in line for the grocery store or at a school drop-off or at any other public place for no reason. War, jungle Tourette's. Unwar being my children having it too. Dave in the 808. Two things. One, they are 3 and they are 6, right? They do things like that. They're 3 and they're 6. That's their vocabulary. 2, it's funny. Butthole. Hey, Dave, don't be a butthole, man. They're 3 and they're 6. Turtleneck van or turtleneck. I'll try it again. Turtleneck tan man. My beef is with Sean McBag. He's going to do some clown stuff on Sunday, like celebrating the end zone with his team or pump up the crowd on the sidelines like that idiot piece of crap Matt LaFraud did on Saturday night. McBag and LaFraud are Shanahan's bitch. McBag will solidify that bitch status on Sunday.
You bitch.
Mario in SF. I got to respect it, Mario. I do, dude. You are a Frisco resident that's coming strong. And I hate to say it, a lot of what he says has some merit. If the Rams get beat by these guys for a 7th time in a row, when they're all in and they're at home and a trip to the Super Bowl hangs in the balance, man. Rome, my beef is with TV stations immediately cutting away from the idiots that run onto the field. What would be better for ratings and entertainment than watching some drunk get leveled by security and hearing Kevin Harlan commentate on it? Come on, networks. Give the people what they want. Jesse and Lincoln.
But there he goes.
The reason they don't do that is obvious. They don't want to encourage that behavior. Then you have every idiot coming out of the stands. However, it's not the security guys that you want to see level them. It's the players that you want to see level them. Not to go all boomer on you, but look up the video. YouTube Mike Curtis. That's what you want to see. You want to see a player hit one of those idiots with a forearm shiver, not a yellow jacket. That's an incredible moment in NFL history. Eric in Kansas. Rome, my beef is with sandwich bread. There's just slightly too big for sandwich-sized bags. I end up squishing the sandwich to make it fit just for the bag to rip while sealing it. Come on, Ziploc, do better. Next one. When you live in Michigan and it's a balmy 0 degrees outside, heading to -6, and you have your electric blanket on high in your mostly unheated bedroom, and the hubs releases a Dutch oven fart so vile you have to air out the covers and let the bed reheat. Angie in Grand Rapids. Angie, that is incredible. War Lady Clones, there is your winner right now. When the hubs releases a Dutch oven fart so vile, you have to air out the covers and let the bed reheat. That is incredible from start to finish. What up, Angie? War Lady Clones.
War Lady Clones.
The hubs are coming back. Rome, my beef is with my wife. Every time the remote control or something else imperative goes missing and we begin to look for it, she calls out within a minute or two and said, search with anything? No, sweetheart. Otherwise, I would have shouted, Eureka! at the top of my lungs, specifically so I didn't have to hear you ask if I had struck gold. Greg in H-Town, that's good. Not as good as Angie's, but that's good. Rafa in Mexicali tweets, "Hi.
Hi.
My beef is with clones sending their same beef every week, again and again, hoping to get read on the show. Understand something, no matter how many times you try to push it, no means no."
No means no.
Hashtag, what's my beef?
No means no.
Chalk approved that beef. No means no.
No means no. No means no.
My beef is with men who calls boats she. Hey, Popeye the Sailor Man, boats don't have vaginas. Dennis in San Luis Obispo. Hey, Chalk, did you approve that beef too? Maybe we keep genitalia out of the beefs, Chalk. Third grader. At the Bronx Buckeye. Hey, Rome. I got a beef with my iPhone 12 mini. I just got this bad boy for Xmas. And every time I try to listen to the Jim Rome podcast, it dies on me. Battery goes from 100% to E in what seems like 1 hour. I paid almost a G for this piece. Do better. Is that true? I don't know about the battery life on that piece. Van Smack, I have beef with these teams that don't sell playoff tickets to outside zip codes. How freaking insecure are you? Are you worried a small smattering of opposing fans will be louder than yours? Are you worried that your own fan base isn't all that? Toughen up, cupcakes. Thanks, Mark in Parts Unknown. Yes, Mark, that's exactly what they're concerned about. All of that. Jim, I have a beef. I have a beef with my boss. Every time we have a conference call booked for a certain time, like 2 p.m., he inevitably sends me a text 3 minutes before the call going, "You on?" Inevitable. No, you bag. I'm trying to grind out some last-minute items before that waste of a time conference call. Then when I get on the call, these tools are already halfway through the call. If you want the call to start at 1:57, then book it at 1:57. Steven in Sac-Town. Moving through your beefs. This one, it's snowing in Colorado. I constantly see you California drivers treat every street as if you're in a school zone. We don't lower the speed limit to 20 every time it snows. Get your mug off the windshield, push down on the gas, and drive your sled right back to California. You ever heard of staying in your lane? Well, stay in your own crappy state, losers. Ron in Colorado. Man, that is rich as hell. Rich as hell, given that I'm the only native in this state. Let's stop with that. How many of you idiots have come to my state? That is rich as hell, telling us to get out of your state. Here's the other problem, though. It's expensive as hell in this state. This is why people are fleeing our state. Yet all you morons continue to come into my state. That is rich as hell. I'm not saying that we can drive well in the elements. I'm the first one to say the second the first raindrop hits the windshield, all hell breaks out in this town. But you complaining about us going to your state is rich as hell. I see nothing but transplants here. Come on, man. Hey, Jim. No, check that. Hi, Jim. You want to know what my beef is? My beef is with any sort of sound coming out of somebody's mouth after their voice. Slurping, chewing, sneezing, coughing, grunting, all of it. Bella B in Calgary. Hey, Bella. This guy's handle was, "Give me back my sight."
Give me back my son.
Rome. My beef is with entitled cable customers. I'm tired of listening to you bitch and complain about how high the prices are. If you don't like it, then go start your own cable company. You are not entitled to a promotion every time your current one runs out.
You bitch.
All right. Romy. I have a beef with eats a meal on the airplane guy. This guy brought his 6-piece wings and messy-ass burger from Chili's on the plane. The only thing worse would have been a full rack of ribs. We're flying from Orlando to Newark. It's a 2.5-hour flight. Why don't you stuff your fat face before the flight? Nick in New York. I'll allow that. I allow almost anything from New York. Jim, my beef with grocery stores is the sordid assortment of tabloid magazines that they have the checkout lines. National Enquirer, People, anything with Kim Kardashian on its cover. They are to journalism what fried Twinkies are to nutrition. Thanks for contributing to the further dumbing down of our society, grocery chains. Is it asking too much to mix in Time, National Geographic, or Forbes to the rack? I guess it is. Mike and KC. Pretty much, bro. Pretty much. All right. Let's go to the phones. It is the beef segment. 1-800-636-8686. Let's go to New Orleans. Tommy in New Orleans. Tommy, what's your beef?
Pimp in the box. What is up? My beef is with this insane social phenomenon where everybody is now glossed by their initials. I mean, it started with FDR and JFK. That's cool. MJ. I'll even allow BIC. But now we have DA, BA, SVP, OBJ, AB, FDB, and it goes on. Jim, my fear is that this phenomenon, this insane phenomenon, infiltrates the Rome family. Poor Rogan Loam will be confused about his status in the family itself. It's got to stop. Think about it.
My man, I like that. Tommy in New Orleans, well done. Very, very well done. Let's go to West Covina here in SoCal. Parker, what's your beef?
Parker, what's happening, Rome? How you doing?
Good, dude.
No. You don't like
Did he correct us and say Barker, or did he just say Parker? My man, I'm sorry about that, brah. But if I say Parker, what's your beef? Your reaction need not be Parker. Like what? I mean, you know I'm coming to you.
Who is Parker?
That'd be like if I were to say, "Hey, Parker, what's your beef?" And you would say, "Parker." Who is Parker?
Parker?
That made no sense. Anyway, don't reset your name after I just said your name, because I know your name, because I just said your name. Anyway, let's keep moving. The beef calls are never as good as the social media calls. We know this. Let's go to Indy. Carl in Indy. Hey, Carl, I'm not going to bring you up just yet. I'm just going to ask one thing. When I go to you, hey, Carl, what's your beef? Don't say, Carl. Carl, what's your beef?
Jimbo, my beef is with myself today. I roll up to the Taco Bell drive-thru, brother. I get my soft taco and my pintos and cheese, and I'm all happy. I stop to eat it, realize they don't give me the spork. I don't have a backup spork in my car. Jim, what am I going to do now? Am I going to eat it with my fingers, or am I going to tip the thing up and just chug it down like Wells? Now, who's the loser here, Jim? I say me, because I was not prepared for what life had to throw my way today.
I like that, Carl. Nice job. You were not prepared. You didn't show up properly. You did not show up with a plan. You did not show up with intent. You did not show up for that drive-through and demand your spork. All right, that's ownership. Extreme ownership. Why don't we try Canyon Lakes, Texas? Ryan. Good to have you, Ryan. What's your beef?
Jim, my beef's with paper straws. Every time I use one of these disasters, it practically disintegrates in my mouth. I'm ingesting paper fibers. Are traditional plastic straws really one of Earth's biggest problems? Bring back the plastic straws, late.
I like that. I mean, that's original. He's ingesting paper fibers. Is it not better for the environment, the paper straw, than the plastic straw? I'm not going to really weigh in on that, but that is his beef. The phone call beefs are a little unusual today, aren't they? Let's keep trying. Chalk is shaking me off like there is no hope. Keep trying, dude. They're still ringing. If they're ringing, there's still hope. And hope may not necessarily be a terrible thing. You know, I talked to Dan Wetzel. It is if you're a Bills fan. but it might not be the worst thing. Let me reset you very quickly. I still have a little bit of time on the back end. 1-800-636-8686. Let's go to Margo in Buffalo. Margo, what is your beef?
Hello.
Hello.
Let's go Buffalo. My beef, Jim, is with Brad and Corona in his hexy poo he bestowed upon Rick in Buffalo, and frankly, the entire Bills Mafia. Your name in Buffalo now is synonymous with butthole and Corona, bitch.
Wow, Margo, you're just kind of uttering butthole and bitch at the best to ever do it. And the fact of the matter is that little hexy poo worked.
Butthole.
Hexy poo, I put a hex on you.
It worked. You can't come in here and say, hey, your name is now synonymous in Buffalo with butthole and bitch.
Butthole.
He's not the problem.
Butthole.
There are a lot of problems. He's not the problem. He's not the one that could not make a play and get off the field with 13 seconds left. Now, I'm not here to pile on. I'm just here to say that beef doesn't work. We can't walk off on that. Alaska. I like that. Alaska generally is a good thing. Let's go to Matt in Alaska. Yes, we have listeners and viewers in Alaska and have for quite some time. Matt, what's your beef?
Jimmy, I got a beef with the guy who's worried about what kind of straw he's using to slurp down the liquid that he has chosen. If the glass is so dirty that you can't put your lips on it and you're going to call a radio show and complain about your straw, you probably shouldn't be drinking out of the glass, dude. War, listeners, viewers, and people living in Alaska. Jimmy, that's it. I'm out.
Oh, war that, brother. Hell yeah. War Alaska. War Anchorage.
Brother.
War a reaction to a beef that happened seconds earlier. This dude's like, man, if you're that concerned about what kind of a straw you put to your lips, paper or plastic, because your glass is that filthy, you shouldn't be drinking from that glass to begin with. No, what he said was, if you're that concerned about what that straw is made out of that you would call a nationally syndicated radio program, then you should, and you can't just put your lips to that glass. Anyway, you heard what he said. I liked it. It made me forget what Margo said. Hello? Margo, calling somebody a butthole and a bitch when they were right in the first place is not a beef. Not a good one. Hello? I like Alaska. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. It looks gorgeous. Am I right? And I remember the first time we had an affiliate in Anchorage. I thought that was great. I'm like, oh, man, we got to get Trajan Langdon on. I got to hear from anybody in Alaska. And there's always been good participation from Alaska. I'm staying in the fight. I'm keeping this thing alive. Let's go to Nocal. Dan in Nocal. Dan, what's your beef?
Yeah, I've lived 58 years on this planet and never once heard the word physicality. Now I can't go 2 minutes on any talk show talking about football without the word physicality being brought up. Not even sure if it's a word. Thanks.
My man, 58 years on the planet and never once heard the word physicality. And now you can't go anywhere on the radio without hearing it? I got news for you. Not only do you hear it, you heard a guy that I respect and like as much as any in the business yesterday, Daniel Jeremiah. Daniel Jeremiah, man, I could not like and respect DJ more than I do. And he used that very word to describe your football team. Physicality. Yes, it is a word. That's not offensive. Why is that offensive? Physicality. It's a physical sport. It's a violent sport. And you know why it's appropriate? Because DJ's whole point was the reason the Niners have owned the Rams is because of, wait for it, their physicality. They're the more physical football team. Why is that a beef? Trust me, I'm a bleeping wordsmith. I have no issue with that word. Here's the funny thing. That Christmas tree is still lit up. Every line's lit. It's lit! But the XR4 Ti looks exhausted. I'm trying to stay in the fight for just maybe one more. Maybe one more good one to walk off. The vampire over there is trying hard. One last shot. Let's go to Albany. Justin in Albany. We're going to walk off on this one. Justin, you made it in. What's your beef?
Hey, Roma, how you doing? My beef is with the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator. I picked every single underdog on a parlay and the over for the Chiefs game, and they couldn't hold a lead 3 times. Oh, twice, and then in overtime.
I hear you. I think that's legit. I think that's legit.